So it's my honor to introduce our keynote speaker this morning, native of Boston, served his country for many, many years. He attended Harvard and was executive editor of the Boston College Law Review and won the moot court too. Usually don't have that the same person. Clerked in the Fifth Circuit under Chief Judge Tuttle, practiced law in Washington and then Boston, most recently under the firm Mintz-Levin. Was a very well-known cable television, First Amendment, and privacy lawyer, among other things. Also taught, so he'll be very comfortable in this law auditorium, taught at Suffolk Law. In 2004, he served as the advisor and advisor and surrogate for his brother's presidential campaign. In 2009, he was nominated, and in one of the few times that the U.S. Senate is unanimous, was unanimously approved to be General Counsel of the Department of Commerce, the third-ranking official at the Commerce Department, and oversees 325 attorneys and 14 offices, oversees agencies that are relevant to us, such as issues of international trade and also the National Telecommunications and Information Administration. He's also, these days, Secretary Locke has been nominated to be ambassador to China. There's a vacancy in the Deputy Secretary's office, so he should be minding the store. I think it's it's a real honor that he's come here and sharing his time with us, because he's basically day-to-day running the Department of Commerce. But most of all, he's known as the leader in the Obama administration on privacy policy. In 2010, he led the effort for the Green Paper on privacy policy coming out of the Commerce Department. That was really the most extensive, comprehensive internet policy paper. And then co-chaired the White House Subcommittee on Privacy and Internet Policy, part of the National Science and Technology Council out of the White House, basically the administration-wide privacy proposal, which again proposes legislation in Congress for a very comprehensive look at internet policy. So we're very honored that he's taking the time this morning to address us on this topic. Please welcome Cameron Kerry.
Well, Charlie, thank you, and thank you, Jules and Lily. Good morning. It's a pleasure and an honor to be with you this morning. I was a little afraid coming into the building because I think the last time I was here was to take the bar exam, but fortunately this is not the same room, so I don't have to experience that deja vu. This is a very forward-thinking community. It's pretty remarkable that this is now the 21st year of this conference. The CFP was bringing together leaders in what amounts to, in the internet world, to prehistoric times. Before most Americans owned a PC, before the World Wide Web even existed, when much of our communications were still in analog form. Now we find ourselves in this era of smartphones, mobile computing, wireless access, cloud computing, location-based services. When some are, now forecasting the end of the PC era, this is a time for forward thinking. As changes in our technology reshape how people communicate with each other, how we express ourselves, social and legal norms need to catch up. We need to consider how the devices that we carry in our pockets and our purses, the information that we store in virtual file cabinets, and the electronic tracks that we leave behind are used not only by the companies that we interact with, but by strangers to our transactions and interactions. Not only by our own government in the United States, but by other governments that are not subject to the same due process restraints. Today, the amount of data generated, stored, and available stretches our language as we try to count bytes in unheard of magnitudes. This data has potential to open new frontiers of human knowledge. It can make businesses smarter, more efficient, and more responsive to consumer needs. It can tell government how to allocate resources to those in need and give researchers tools to make breakthroughs in science and in medicine. As one small example, last year, the Department of Commerce's United States Patent and Trademark Office released nearly 2 terabytes of data, patent and trademark data going back to the founding of the Patent and Trademark Office in 1790. Did this instead of charging for it and partnered with Google to mine the data and make it available to the public. Third-party organizations have built tools to use this data. One is an online marketplace called On Green that connects entrepreneurs to investors in clean tech intellectual property, enabling social networking features to accelerate the commercialization of the technologies of the future. Pretty cool stuff. But we also have to acknowledge that there are risks in this data. Misuse of that information by businesses, by governments, or by malicious actors can destroy the trust that is fundamental to the ecology of the internet that has made it a global force for economic opportunity and for social and political change. From his first days in office, President Obama has set as an administration priority access to the internet that is safe, secure, unfettered, and connected seamlessly throughout the globe. This has not been a single initiative or the work of a single department. 2 weeks ago, the President unveiled the nation's first comprehensive international strategy for cyberspace, a plan for building an international environment that supports innovation in internet technology and is secure enough to earn and to keep the trust of users across the world. This global network must also be reliable, interoperable, and grounded in principles of privacy, free flow of information, and rule of law in cyberspace. This international strategy will require collaboration of a broad array of stakeholders at home and abroad, including multi-stakeholder organizations, including the private sector. So we can build a cyberspace and internet environment that deserves the trust of the global user community, that grows businesses, expands trade, promotes democracy, and denies to terrorists and to criminals the ability to exploit the information on that internet. On the global free flow of information, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton has made it a priority, giving voice not only to the issue, but bringing resources. Last month, the administration sent to Congress a draft of legislation on cybersecurity. The proposal on cybersecurity includes a proposal that we endorsed in the privacy green paper that we released at the Department of Commerce, a breach notification requirement, which simplifies and strengthens the patchwork reporting requirements of many of our states with a uniform standard for all Americans. This should give an incentive to organizations to have better data security in the first place, and consumers should have the right to know when their personal information may have been compromised, so they have the opportunity to protect themselves against risks like identity theft. Another key aspect of the cybersecurity proposals is to advance the security of the communications backbone, power grids, water systems, and other core critical infrastructure. The administration proposes strengthening the criminal penalties for hacking into these systems and clarifies the ability of companies and government to share information about cybersecurity threats and incidents in a privacy protective manner. This is information sharing behavior we need and want to promote. One of the critical things that we have heard from stakeholders in this area is the need to share information about signatures of malicious code. The proposal also increases the nation's ability to detect and to prevent cyber attacks, allowing the Department of Homeland Security to implement intrusion detection and prevention systems that can help speed our response to threats and stop the spread of malicious programs before they have an impact. It also designs a framework for protecting privacy and civil liberties that includes new oversight, annual certification that cybersecurity technologies are used for their intended purposes and for nothing more. As an initial start on this future framework for privacy and security, the administration recently released its national strategy for trusted identities in cyberspace in collaboration with several agencies. Trusted identities is about giving consumers more secure choices for authentication and encouraging solutions that will allow transactions involving sensitive information such as medical records to be performed online from anywhere. The national strategy for trusted identities relies on voluntary development and adoption in the private sector, the government operating as a convener. Our strategy is not to create a solution and to prescribe it, but to encourage the private sector to design the technologies and tools that will make our identities in cyberspace more secure, to make those tools available to consumers who want them.